hair style, which again you have to manage. So typically in the Western style, slightly step cut hair. This is not absolutely straight, but step cut. It means, as I showed you in the previous video, that we'll need to cover that with multiple net. So you know now how to attach and how to extend it. Now these hair are further shorter, so I would ideally recommend that we attach a supplement, that is fake hair supplement, and we extend that, and then below that we attach the paranda, which I have shown you in the previous video. So here also again we start with the same thing as making the center partition of the mung. So here again I'm using the tail comb. Foremost, take all your hair back, and then your nose is your center line. Go right at the nose and go all the way up and exactly center and separate it. Yeah. And now same thing as I did in the previous video, that we are going to separate, make three parts. The front part, so almost at the end of your partition till it goes down straight up to the ear, and then we separate it. And the other part from the other side, so we almost come from the other side and separate the other side of the hair and take the center part. Make sure the lower near the ear also you remove all the hair. And so three parts are made, and now we take the back part first and make a ponytail. So as you see that I have already tied the ponytail, and the two parts on the right and left are kept open, which we will tuck later. And because she really has small hair, so I would attach the paranda much earlier than a person with long hair. So here we start with making the choti. Again, we want to make sure that choti is super tight. And now these hair are also layered, so we don't want to take the chances, but attach the paranda right away with the hair. So once this paranda choti is done, we want to again lock it up neatly. So make sure when you make the paranda, all the three guchas of the paranda are together in one level and not two highs and lows. And then you lock it with the choti with the rubber band so it stays together. And now we take care of this with the juda net. So the big trick is the juda net, which really keeps all the small hair which typically stick out together. And we lock the net with the hairpin. So here we go. So juda net, exactly where the small hair starts sticking out, that's where you want to keep a juda net. So spread it nice and wide. Tuck one side inside, so one end I'm tucking it in, and then rolling over the remaining juda net tightly on the choti, so it holds all the small hair together and nothing is now sticking out, but we want to make sure that everything is together. And then see the last end, I am tucking it back and then I'm locking it with a hairpin. Always remember, hairpin should be pointing down, so there is no chance it will fall down. If you put it pointing up, it can drop down. That's the reason you want to put it from upside down and not downside up. So that's the best way to lock it up so it stays together. Now just for all of you to know, this is not what you want to put it in the front, but just for you to see, this is how it is locked from upside down and not from downside up. So it stays and there is no chance it will fall down. Now as you see the bulge over here, so to take care of that, we are going to put a rubber band so that the paranda also stays in place where it is attached. Otherwise, sometimes I have seen the attached point of the paranda starts dangling down. That should not happen. So tuck it up with the rubber band nice and tight. You can make it a double twitch so that it stays together and it does not come out. And now all the choti is neatly done, and now we will do the same thing, is connecting, back combing, and then twisting, and then bringing it here, wrapping it around, and then covering that again with the Juda net. Now here we have an adult student performing, and that's why I want to go elaborate with this face makeup. So typically now I'm not using the liquid foundation, but I'm using the pen stick. This is a Krylon German company pen stick. You can even go for the MAC or other various well-known companies, and make sure that it matches your skin tone accurately. Right now, I mean, this is kind of matching with this particular person also. So again, as I said, that we always start with under eye. We want the under eye to foremost cover the darkness typically develops with our work and all that under eye. So we want to even tone that. Also the sides of the nose, we want to make sure that that all gets covered up. And then all the other part of the skin, again, we want to tone it up and keep it really, even tone. And that itself does a lot of magic that gives you a nice even look. And then we start working further. Now the base coat is done, and now I'm going to use a slightly darker, this is light Egyptian shade, to shade the nose. So we want the nose to look straight. This is typically done for the stage makeup, and for the camera it is done in a much lighter way. So stage, when the audience is at a furthest distance, we want even from that distance all your features to be seen nicely. So now I'm shading both sides of the nose. So it starts right from the edge of the eyebrow and blends down to the tip of the nose. And that creates a nice straight line. And then lower side, it is just faded down. Likewise, now in case of this particular performer, she doesn't have broad jawline or excessive fat or nothing of that sort. But still, typically from the corner of the ear, you just want to shade off this part. So that way your face gets even more highlighted. So the downside of the neck is little more darker shade. So that enhances your face even better. So I'm starting from right from her end of the ear and bringing it down up to the chin line, and then this is typically called jaw cutting, so thereby your face is enhanced. And I'm now filling up all this part. So even if you have like a bulgy jaw or bulgy area here, if you make it darker, that kind of hides down in that darker shade and it enhances your face at the same time. And then you can do the same thing right now what I'm doing with the pen stick. With your final touches, you can do that with the pancake also. Pancake or dust powder, and I'm just dubbing it so that it gives an even tone to the entire face. Typically over here in the northern part of America, where already it's a dry climate, so you don't want to further make it dry. But normally in the countries like India, where the humidity is very high, there you need to use a lot of powder to make sure that otherwise even without doing anything we are perspiring. That's not the case here. Mostly it's dry weather. So just little touch of the powder is good enough to hold on to the pen stick base which you have done. And now same thing we will do with the eyeshadows also. Again, you can choose to use the brush. As I said, I feel more comfortable using the fingertips, and so here I am putting it a lighter tone considering her skin tone, uh, and maybe a little bit of blend of brown in it. As the eyeshadow, it is at the center of her eyelid, as you can see. And now think that if she's going to wear a red or any tones of reds or greens, I want to enhance that with a orangish shade. Again, as I said, that it will be in the outer part of the eyelid, and the density is here at the edge of the eyelid. I'm giving it slight glitter blend and then blending it at the center, also blending it towards the upper side of the eyebrow, and same thing on the right side. As you see, it's deeper. I'm putting it and then blending it out up to the eyebrow and blending it in, likewise blending it, so 1/3 part of it. And as you can see, I have kept it lighter in her center and the inner part of the brow. And now I'm going to put the highlighter right below the arch of the eyebrow. So always slightly take it up and then put the highlighter, blend it on the further inside end, and same thing on the other. You want the highlighter to be where the arch is, and just leave it alone. And now we will go with the eyebrows. So after eyeshadow, first we do is eyebrow. So again, brush up the eyebrows. So whatever eyeshadow dust might be in there, you want that to go out, so that itself does half your job. And then we do the eyeshadow eyebrow. So again, she has a nice shapely eyebrows. Sometimes, you know, some childhood injuries, and sometimes you see people with cuts. Now it's only the lower side slightly. I'm fine lining that and then going up. You don't want to really, you know, do too much. That's it. She doesn't need much. Now only edging is where I'm creating a point and dip and then upward. Likewise, little bit on this side, just fine lines. And then here I'm slightly filling it up so that her eyebrows don't look angry eyebrows, but nice and calmer. And then again at the edge, I'm taking the edge out and taking it slightly out. As you can see, this is how I'm taking the edge out, slightly extending the eyebrow. And now once I'm done that, I want to just blend it, and this eyebrow brush just does all the wonder of blending it nicely. So now from both the sides, over here also, I don't want like sharp lines, but let it be blended. As you can see, this side of the eye, I have purposely done just one eye, and you can see the thickness of the eyeliner. And this other eye, I have not done anything. So you can see the difference as against this eye. So much of the thick eyeliner has been applied. So I'm going to match that thickness to the other side of the eye also. As you can see, I'm using the eyeliner brush so that I can control the density of the eyeliner. This is a typically cake liner, but nowadays you get those pointy ready eyeliners also, which are waterproof eyeliner is what, as you can see, do you see my line is so above her eyelash line, and I'm filling up all that with eyeliner. So thereby I'm really making the eyeliner thick on the upper side of her eye, and then taking it out, so truly making it dark over here, and then taking it out, pointed, going upward towards the eyebrow end. And then same thing we will do. Cut. Look at this. Now as you can see, I have taken the line from the below and merged it with the kajal line little bit. So it's basically the outside. Inside you want a very, very thin line, not very deep. Likewise, here also very, very thin line, not very thick. It becomes thicker as it goes out. So I have filled up all this area and then merged it over here. So then the eyes look nice and bright up to here. So we need to really fill it up nicely. As you can see, I have already done the outline with the lip liner pencil, and the lower lip is made more fuller. I have gone below the lip line and extended the lip little bit, and I have filled up the upper lip completely with the shade, and now only the center of the lower lip, slightly open your mouth, is I'm filling up with the moist lipstick, and this is a nice bright color. So the shine or a little bit of shine or liquid lipstick you want to use, I mean, I would go completely with a matte, but that will be only at the center of the lower lip and not at the upper lip. So when you're performing on the stage, you don't want your upper lip shiny. It doesn't look good. Even in the photograph, if they click and if your upper lip is shining, it doesn't look good. That does not enhance your feature. But as you're seeing, I'm further making it sharper. So the upper lip is always filled in with a matte and with a darker color, and only one little shade is at the center. Typically for a ghagra, we again have the dupatta on top of the shoulder. It's neatly pleated, and we want to first adjust the border of the dupatta, and it will be pinned on the sides. All these pleats will come here, and these pleats should stay together, and that's why, especially in a soft material like this, to keep the pleats together, you want to pin the border also over here so that these pleats remain in place, and then you take all these borders neatly, pleats together, and then pleat it, and then pin it in the border here, border over here, right at the shoulder, and then on top of it the kambarpatta will come. As you can see, I have pinned the pleats from inside because this is a softer fabric. This is not the organza or tissue fabric, but it's a softer net fabric, and that's why I've pleated this so that those pins will help the pleats to stay together neatly and nicely. And then I have also pleated it here. There is also a pin here. I'm purposely putting it outside so that you all can see it. And then there is also one pin kept over here so that this other boundary line or the lace is marked properly and it stays in place. And then typically we would put a pin here also. So we don't want to include the outer border, but we want to just put the inner side, and with the blouse you want to put a pin there so that the dupatta doesn't move from this end either. So it stays in place, and as you can see, now this is all nicely placed. And now I'm taking the kambarpatta and tying it around. So as I had said earlier, that as you can see, the back side is also pinned and the borders are nicely kept. Again, I will take the kambarpatta just on the dress, so which is the front part of the dupatta, which I have tied tightly here, and then I'm putting 2 knots on this so that it stays in place. And then I'm taking the choti and I'm tying the choti also in it, so it stays in place and it doesn't fly off or it doesn't bother the dancer while she's dancing. And now, as you can see, I have made vertical pleats over here, and same pleats I would even pin on the lower side over here, and so that this also stays together. And on the back side I have made it a diagonal angle, and now this again goes exactly below the arm. So I'm taking again this dupatta from below the arm, I'm taking it out from the kambarpatta, and then I'm turning it in and then here I would put the pin from inside. So this border stays here and I put it from inside so that it stays together. So these are just very simple ways of draping your attire, your dupatta, making sure that they are neatly placed, and you can straighten this up, and I'm just showing you how it is, but this should be neatly pleated, and on the lower side also it should be neatly pinned down there. So this entire pleat stays nicely. At any given point of time, the dupatta will not go below the ghagra, but it should stay above the ghagra. And this is how the front side of the dupatta will see that it is neatly pleated here, and so it stays in place.